Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be talking to you about something very light and silly. But before we get started, obviously there's just so much going on in this country and the world, so I just want to acknowledge that this is a channel that's obviously meant to just talk about fun, light things, but it's hard to not talk about this stuff at all or not even mention it even in this platform. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be linking down below some of my favorite charities and some of my favorite ways to give back in this time. So I just want to put that out there, and I encourage you to do research and support and give whatever you can. Even like $5 means something, it adds up. So now we can get into the fun light stuff. So if you haven't seen below, I've done a couple different story times of dating. I will link those down below. One was about a blind date that I had in college, and another one was about a guy that I ended up dating who was my upstairs neighbor in an apartment that I lived in my early 20s. So check those out if you haven't already. But today is just gonna be sort of a quick video or a quick run through of some bad dates that I've gone through, obviously, in my 20s. So I wrote them down in case I forgot any, because I was trying to think about these the other day, and that's why I was making notes of it. I went on so many different dates, and I feel like some guys I even dated like went on at least like 1 to 3 dates with. I don't even remember. Like, I definitely don't remember their name. I can't even necessarily imagine like a picture of them in my head. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe that's something that is relatable for people, or maybe that's just my problem. There was once a guy that I met online. Again, I don't know his name and I wouldn't reveal it anyway. He met me at a bar in Midtown. We had a drink or two, and then he took me out to this really nice restaurant a few blocks away. I remember the conversation being really good. I think he had a decent job. He was like a decent looking guy. I don't remember having any awkwardness. I was enjoying it. I would never go and continue on a date from one place to another if I wasn't enjoying myself. Ended up also, I think, going to an after dinner drink, like a bar, or maybe getting dessert. We went to 3 different places. He easily dropped like hundreds of dollars on this. We didn't go to like the fanciest restaurant in the world, but he definitely was like a nice restaurant. And we had drinks at the restaurant before, and like I said, after. He put me in a cab. This was before Uber even existed, by the way. And I think we kissed like on the cheek or kissed like a peck. It was very innocent. I never heard from him again. I remember it going really well. I was thinking like, this guy is somebody I could probably date. The date was like hours long. So who the hell knows what happened there? Another guy that I went out with is somebody that I actually dated, I think for like maybe a month and a half or so. I remember his name, but he wouldn't let me sleep over ever. So I would have to leave his house or his apartment at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, which, as I think a 20 or 21-year-old in New York City, that was really smart and a really nice thing to do. He was definitely a few years older. I think he was in his mid-20s. You think he would know better, but clearly he didn't. I remember like when I was that young, somebody that was like 25 or 26 seemed like so old. And now to me that seems like a baby. So that's a weird age thing that I don't know if you guys can relate to. But anyway, that relationship or that dating whatever thing ended because, like I said, we were going out for about a month and a half. Valentine's Day was coming up, and he didn't even mention it, which I think if you're dating somebody for a month and a half, you need to at least acknowledge it in some capacity, whether that's like a nice, like some flowers, or even like a sweet text or a phone call, or say like, hey, I'm thinking of you. I know like we're not necessarily boyfriend, girlfriend, but it's Valentine's Day. Just something, some acknowledgement. So he didn't bring it up. So I think I mentioned to him like, hey, Valentine's Day is like this Thursday or this Wednesday or whatever it is. And he said, yeah, Lost is on, so we're not gonna be doing anything. So this couldn't have been before DVR. I know DVR existed, or you could record it or whatever. But instead of saying like, let's go out the night before, the night after, like he had to watch Lost and he wasn't gonna do anything. So that didn't really work out well. But I think he's married now. Anyway, then there was another guy who, it was again an online dating thing. I don't know how invested I was in this date, but he seemed like a really smart guy. So I was like, let me just go out with him. So we met up somewhere downtown, and we met on Houston Street, and he had told me that he put his bike somewhere on Houston Street. I didn't know if he meant motorcycle or actual bicycle. I found out later he meant bicycle, which is fine, but I don't really know why you would ride a bike to a date. Anyway, we started to walk towards the bar or restaurant or wherever we were gonna go to, and he said, I'm really nervous about where I parked my bike. Do you mind if we walk across Houston Street so I can move it? Okay, it wasn't like 2 blocks away where he could easily, it was like all the way across Houston Street, and if you know Manhattan at all, it's basically goes the whole course, like the width of Manhattan. So we were walking for like a half an hour. I remember it was summertime and it was really hot, and I remember telling him after he made me do that, like, this is going nowhere, but I will go get a drink with you. We can talk about how you might be a better dater. He was just a nervous mess. He was sort of like a Woody Allen type, but like not funny and not rich and not successful. So that was another disaster. There was another guy that I went out with, I think a couple times. And I remember the first time we went out, we were walking out of the restaurant and I was about to thank him for the drinks or dinner or whatever that we had. No, I think we had tacos, and it was like a $10 meal, which fine, whatever. But I remember like I was walking out the door and I was about to thank him, and he sort of started this weird confrontation with me, and he was like, I was about to say it, and he was like, I really am not feeling great that you didn't thank me for the dinner. And I was saying to him, like, literally I was about to thank you. So then we went out again because I was like, you know what, maybe he was just kind of didn't know what to say and his timing was bad. And I don't know if he did it again, but he was just like a stumbling mess. So that didn't work out. But I remember being so thrown off because I've always thanked every guy that's ever taken me out. And for him to confront me about it was so strange. Then there was another guy who I don't even remember how I met him, if I met him in person or online or through a friend or at a party or something. But we met down again in the West Village for this date, near Christopher Street, if you know it. And he was like, let's go. Like, I've picked a place for us to check out first. So I didn't know what that was gonna be. I think it was like early evening, so I don't know if he was gonna take me to a bar for a drink before dinner or what we were gonna do. Yeah, he took me to a sex shop in the West Village. And he wasn't like, oh, just kidding, like we're actually going here. He was like, let's go in. And I said, on a first date, we just met, you're gonna take me to a sex shop? And he wasn't saying it in like a funny, like, let's just be silly. He was like clearly like a pervert and like wanted to see what I was into, like sex-wise or something. And then I think lastly, there was another guy that was actually really sweet and nice. You could tell he was a shy, kind of nervous type, but he was like a really smart guy, nice. And I was trying to be encouraging at the end of the night. He actually, I don't remember if we went out on a date in my neighborhood at the time, which was the Upper East Side. I don't know if he walked me back or we took a cab back. Either way, he was nice enough to kind of see me to the door. And you could tell he was trying to kiss me. And I was like, you can kiss me if that's what you want. Like, I'm totally cool with it. And he just wouldn't do it. And we stood there for like 10 minutes and it was like the most awkward 10 minutes I think ever in my life. And I was like, it's cool if you do it. I don't know what his deal was, if he was just like never had gone out with somebody or never kissed somebody or what his, I even was like, let's try to go out again. And like, he was again, just so nervous to make any kind of move. Like even like putting his hand like on my lap or around my shoulder or anything. So I was like, I tried like a second time with you, but I can't be with somebody who won't initiate any kind of physical contact with me, especially when I'm telling you it's okay. Don't remember that guy's name either, but he was actually a nice guy, and hopefully 10 years or whatever later, he has been able to overcome that battle with himself. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick kind of funny, quick run through of some of my first and second date kind of stories, and just encourage you all. I know it's hard to date right now, but for those of you who are able to safely, or at least are doing it online virtually through Zoom or wherever else, that you're gonna have awkward experiences and not everything is gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be funny to look back on, and I feel like you always like learn something or take away something. Be sure to check out some of my past videos. I'll link them down below, and don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, bloominlovenyc, and I'll see you guys later.